Hi, I want to talk a little bit today about dimensions as opposed to parallel realities. Dimensions might be thought of as something that is more hierarchical, one above the other, like the third dimension, fourth dimension, fifth dimension, etc., up to the 12th that they know about right now. And whereas parallel realities might be thought of as more a side-by-side kind of a lateral, a path, more of a path that we go down. Now, what dimensions, people talk about so much about the third dimension and the fourth dimension, that we're moving into the fifth dimensional realities. So let's think about this. The third dimension is, we'll start there, is, and I wanted to get paper to show you all, and maybe I will in another video, but we'll just do this, try to talk about it this way. Okay, first dimension is pretty much a point, right? And second dimension is a line with a line between 2 points. Third dimension is well, excuse me, we're still on a point on a plane. So third dimension is where there's height, width, and depth, this way. So we will, that's essentially gives us all of the form that we have. Everything can be described in height, width, and depth, this way. And that it forms a cube, a three-dimensional cube. And it's pretty much everything that's solid that we can see, right? So our parallel realities kind of are most visible like on the paths that we choose. We choose to take this path versus this path versus this path and this path. And we may go down this path a little way and say, oh, you know what, I think I want to get back over to this path, and then go over to this path. All right, so we'll go over here, and then I'm going to jump over here and go down that path because I didn't like how this other one was going. That is, we can choose to change our minds, and every choice we make gives us another parallel reality that we can choose from. Now, right here, a 3D cube, for instance, just like a movie cinema that appears 3D, but is like if you're going into a movie, one frame shot is 1 point in time, like in a film, and it's 1 point in time. It's three-dimensional, and it's we can see it, we can feel it, and it involves our five senses generally. Now, dimensions basically involves things that we cannot see beyond the third dimension. So, if you the fourth dimension is essentially more like time, because you take a snapshot in time, then you take the next one, then you take the next one, and that in a film, one picture after another, it makes a sense of movement or time. And so the fourth dimension creates a sense of movement. Really, in reality, there is no movement. There is no such thing as space or time. So once we move out of that, then we move out of the things that can be seen here in the third dimension, and we move into the quality of time is the next dimension, and then we move into things like what can't be seen. Let's think about that. Can my creativity be seen? No. My creativity is something that exists within me, that is something that exists, and it has an outcome, but it cannot itself be seen. but it produces things like art, you know, in the third, and it can be brought to the third dimension. Hence, that's what I call bringing heaven to earth, is a type of bringing heaven to earth when we take something from our creativity, the higher dimensions, probably about the 6th dimension or so, and that's what I was told. And then we can form something from that kind of demonstrates that creativity, but not exactly, because it's something that is not in itself manifestable here, except in the form of a 3D object. Once it becomes 3D, it's not in the upper dimensions. So if we can see it, feel it, touch it, it's not of the upper dimensions, but the quality of it, the quality or the energy of it, and the emotions that it evokes in you is of a higher dimension. If it evokes, for instance, a feeling of love and flow, that is a quality of a higher dimension. It is an emotion which is in a higher dimension. Thinking, the process of thinking is in the higher dimensions. So I would say thinking is probably lower dimension, and creativity is a higher dimension. Love is a higher dimension than that. And there's other qualities that we have, we can hardly put into words, that are in the higher dimensions. For instance, our etheric, the other bodies that we have here are of course in the higher dimensions, and that's what people are talking about when they say we are ascending. We are going to the higher dimensions. That doesn't mean that we disappear from the third dimension. It means that necessarily, at this time, what it means is that we will be more focused in the higher dimensions. 5th dimension, I think, is starting, and you know, that's where the outside of time and space, the 3rd and 4th dimension, space is 3rd dimension represents space, and the 4th dimension time, and then 5th will represent anything above, outside of time and space, which starts to encompass more of our spirit and who we really are. Who we really are. So we will become more masterful in being focused in those realms. Have you ever, for instance, like just, of course, we've all daydreamed, right? And when you're doing that, where are you? Where were you focused? Well, you weren't focused in the 3rd dimension because the teacher told you weren't. She said, come back to class. So we actually are quite often in the other dimensions, but how much are we in the other dimensions is the question. And as our frequencies raise, we spend more and more time in those other dimensions, and our goal too is to bring what we have in the other dimensions, like creativity and beauty, and bring it here back to earth and start to focus it more here too. So that's the way that we bring heaven to earth, and we start blending those dimensions, and we really need to be able to flow through all of our dimensions, because we are multi-dimensional creatures, and so we need to be able to flow through them and integrate them very smoothly. And that's a process of mastery, and realizing those other dimensions is part of what I use the allegory for realizing Emerald City, because our world starts to mirror these beautiful realms, and we start to realize all the beauty that is around us as the blocks to the awareness of love are removed from us. We start to realize our multi-dimensional self. We're already there. We're already God's. We are just in the process of realizing our union with our higher selves, our true selves. If you would like more information on topics like these, then you can go to lydiascott.com or visit the Facebook Rainbow Gates site and get some more information there. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and have a great day to have a great life. Bye for now.